Hello, everyone. Welcome to this live. My friend Rawan will be joining soon, and we will be sharing about our upcoming retreat in Morocco happening in September. So we have still a few spots. So if you're curious in joining us in Morocco, you are very much invited. And let me see where she is at. Give it a moment for folks to join. Welcome, everybody. Hello from Egypt. I'm gonna be visiting Egypt this year, so I will be coming with my greetings too. There we Oh, there she is. Hello.
Hello.
Ooh. Hi, beauty.
Hi. Okay, here we are.
Do you have a tripod as well?
Yes.
This is my first live I've ever done with a tripod. I just invested in a tripod.
Wow, hopefully that's relaxing for your hands.
It really is. It's usually all shaky and shit.
Mm,
Uh,
there we go.
okay, well, so good to see you.
Habibi, you too.
So
Yeah.
I was telling a little bit before you were coming on that we are hosting this retreat in Morocco. And, I was actually just reflecting on it. This is going to be like our fifth country together.
Oh, yeah.
Because, I mean, obviously Palestine, Spain, we did our retreat in Spain,
hmm
California,
We met in Portugal.
Portugal, exactly. And where else? Somewhere else. Yeah, this is our fifth.
Yeah. International sisters.
Exactly.
I mean,
Um,
I love that. I love that.
yeah.
Mm.
Well, I'm so excited to chat about this because, we already hosted this retreat together last year about decolonial devotion and sacred creation in Andalus, and particularly reviving Jewish and Islamic traditions. And I'm really excited to continue that work. I think that work is really, really important in our
Mm.
time. Very rare to do also from the places that we both come from and from a political lens.
Mm.
And this intersection of how do we reweave and rethread our spiritual traditions um, through also the political stance that we take in this world as well, not as something that's separate, but something that is deeply connected.
Mhm.
Um, so,
Yeah.
yeah.
I wanted to actually start by asking you a question, if
Oh,
you allow
okay.
me.
Let's go.
Yeah, because last year when we did this retreat, it was also already a vision you had. Like it's not like it was we started talking, we're like, oh, we want to do something, and then we came with this. It was already a theme and a vision alive in you. And it was clear for you that it needed to be in Andalus last year. So I wanted you to speak on that of like where did you and how did you first receive this vision, with your connection to Al-Andalus, your experiences there, like kind of just pre-birth of the retreat, like what was the gestation
Yeah.
inside you around this? Mm.
Wow. Okay. Stop me if I go off the rails because there's a lot. Um,
Okay.
well, okay. First, my grandmother was in love with Andalus. So I grew up, with an Andalusian tradition. My family was from Andalus after the explosion. Um, they went to Syria and then down to Jerusalem. And yeah, I really think Andalusian diaspora is one of the strongest in all histories. I mean, you have people 500 years later still speaking the language, eating the food, the conception of Andalus. But I think so, I had this kind of family emotional connection. The first time I was in Spain was actually when I was like 2020. I was there on an engineering internship randomly enough.
Mm.
That was my first time when I went to Toledo, and I started really like visiting the land and feeling connected to the land itself and feeling for me, when I travel, I very much try to be in relationship to land in a way that's like, well, what's the connection? What's the relationship? Am I invited? Is there a message for me? Like, is there work for me here? And I
Mm.
felt such a strong invitation, such a strong pull. So I started going back, and I think kind of later on in my life, especially with more education about Palestine, started learning. I was used to thinking about Andalus as like a dream from a Jewish lens, and like the download of mysticism, of Kabbalah, of like so much of the spiritual tradition of Judaism comes from Andalus. But when I was reading also poetry of Darwish or different Palestinian thinkers, like also seeing how important Andalus was for like the Palestinian imagination and Palestinian understanding. So that made me even more curious, where I'm like, wait, okay, what are the different threads here? Um, and still, I think there's so much to unpack and so much to uncover, and I feel like I'm learning so much because I was pretty much shocked when I realized how little as a society, both, personally in the Jewish world, but then also in the larger Western world, I would imagine also, and I mean, maybe in the Arab world is slightly different, but we don't learn about this period of history. We don't learn what happened there. We obviously don't learn about coexistence between Jews, Muslims, and Christians because that's not convenient for the political agenda currently. But we also don't learn about the actual spiritual traditions. That didn't see God as like a punisher or someone who will kill you for not doing X, Y, and Z, but actually was very much coming from a tradition of love, which meant a lot of practices of ethics, actually, but also had a conception of the natural world. And, this is where so much of science developed around our relationship to, for example, like the astrolabe, like the cosmos and measuring the stars, but also understanding the body and understand like the role of science in spiritual practice, which is still something that I feel I'm constantly developing within myself. So anyways, I think also just over the years, I then started seeing that there was different initiatives in the Muslim world around reviving Andalus, and different retreat centers and different pilgrimages. And I was like, okay, we got to get the Jews on board too. So I did like a retreat, a Jewish mysticism retreat, I don't know, maybe 5 years ago in Granada. That was so powerful. And when I was there, I was like, okay, like the vision is incomplete if we're just Jews because the history is so Jewish Muslim. And I personally really believe that our learning and our healing needs to be together, and that we can't actually learn separately because the tradition is so intertwined. So, um, yeah, that's the lineage.
Beautiful. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for asking me that.
Mm. Yeah, and so maybe I would like to share with people that like last year we did this decolonial devotion and sacred creation in Orgiva in the south of Spain in Andalus, and we had also Medina Tinur with us. Tinur, is that how you say your last name? Yeah, I think so. And we were in Casa Yasmina, and so also there was that beautiful input from Medina, who lives in Orgiva, Ibrahim, who owns Casa Yasmina, who's actually from Morocco. And now our path has led us to go more south and to go down to Morocco for this year, specifically to Essaouira. And joining our team is also Teyama, who lived in Morocco for some time, who's also a Gnawa musician, and knows quite a bit and will share about like the history of also this intersectionality of Jewish and Muslim communities and thinkers and spiritual, I want to say like almost like spiritual pioneering. Like I feel like there were things that happened in those ages that you're right, we're not taught it in school either. Yeah, I just want to tell you, it has to be of one's own personal study to go and search for these things. It's obscure, and it's a shame that it's not in our collective consciousness as a model of like, wait a second, there was another way in which, yeah, both peoples were empowered also. It was not in the same way that it is now, where we're like on the same land, but not at all in our balance as a humanity, with our different faiths and our different scholarly achievements and spiritual practices and all of that. And that this year we decided to also add in the elements and the theme of the sacred feminine. And so I kind of wanted to like touch on this. It came, first of all, we are for female facilitators and mystics, although I don't put that label on myself, but
I know, listen to our podcast. Remember we did the podcast, we talked a lot about that.
I'm not.
I'm like, you are definitely a mystic.
You are.
You're speaking to the birds, you know, you're downloading the messages of the birds.
Yeah, and that, like, for me, I'll just share a story for me that, and I remember talking about this on your podcast as well, is that something that was very challenging for me growing up around, thank you, around Islam and the way that it was taught and passed on, was how patriarchal it was and how I couldn't find the feminine in it, or couldn't find myself and the feminine in space for my feminine in it. And so I traveled the world, you know, looking at different practices and different religions and different faiths that had that feminine aspect, or the goddess aspect, let's say, or the feminine face of God embraced and celebrated. And in the end, not in the end, because we're still ongoing, I'm always still searching and learning. And I came to find that this can be found in my original faith that I was born into, or religion or culture, but it needs excavation. It's also like very much buried or sidelined. And so some of the things this year that we're looking into, like Medina is going to give us a session on Sufi women and the songs that they carried. Taya has a session where she's going to talk to us about like how to balance between goddess worship and staying loyal to this Sarah and Hajar, sorry, lineages, so the Muslim and Jewish faiths. And so this for me is super exciting, and I wanted to also tell people that this is not a exclusively female space. Like, because we are centering this or bringing forward the sacred feminine does not mean we all have to be women to do that. I think this might be a misconception. And we've had some questions of like, are males welcome? And yes, they are. And all, actually, gender spectrum is welcome. Yeah, and what is it for all of us, no matter what body we are in? Thank you, Sammy. Yeah. No matter what body we are in, to connect to that sacred feminine side or facet.
And I'll say that that's like, you know, very deeply rooted in the teachings of Kabbalah. Like, you know, the notion that the feminine is in exile, and that's part of why we are in distress, you know, politically, society, you know, and that part of actually spiritual practice is a way of returning. And that's parallel in different mythologies across different traditions, right? Of what does this mean for like the feminine to kind of disappear from consciousness, or to disappear from, yeah, and it's definitely not just about women, men, right? It's about a certain energy. So yeah, I'm really excited to explore that as well. I mean, the schedule is insane, I will say. Yeah, I mean, there's four facilitators, us two, Taya and Medina, and everyone's bringing their medicine. And I want to ask you about your medicine, because it's so potent, and particularly. Well, I mean, I know you offer a lot, so talk about whatever you want to talk about, but I was really, it's actually really still resonating with me, the workshop you did in the Andalus retreat about the Latayif. And yeah, I just want to ask you to share a little bit more about that.
Thank you. Yeah, so basically when I did my sound healing training, I was in the South of Spain actually, and one tool that really stayed with me and has like moved with me into now the voice liberation program that I work with one-on-one people, is to use the voice as an instrument itself, as a healing instrument, as a sound healing instrument, and to go through our energy system and really look at our energetic body and also our physical body as an instrument that needs tuning, and seeing where we're off tune, where there's a string that's loose, or where there's skin that needs to be tightened, or so on, metaphorically. And I was taught to use this through the chakra system, the Indian Hindu chakra system. And in recent years, I've been really trying to localize myself a lot more, as much as possible. Considering that, you know, I'm diaspora. I also lived for 10 years in Canada. English is strong. My English is stronger than my Arabic. And I'm working on this line of re-indigenizing, relocalizing, rerouting myself. And so, yeah, before our retreat, I did this research on the Lata'if energy system, which is the Sufi energy system. And by the way, it's only one of the Sufi energy systems. There's also multiple. And I found that it was so interesting because it's not as linear as the chakra system. And there's also many different tariqas, many different paths and ways. And different paths will tell you different things about where these energy centers are. And I found also that Ibn Arabi had created a geometric image of how these lata'if weave together and how that system works and flows. And so just even the thought that something has to be only in one place at one time got challenged for me. Because that's quite a material way of seeing things, quite a physical, dunyawi way of seeing things, and quite a linear way, and quite a masculine way, maybe. So yeah, it challenged me, it inspired me. It also created an opportunity to bridge between the voice as a sound healing instrument and also the zikr practice of like naming certain attributes that can be the cure for the imbalance of a certain energy center. And there are 6 lata'if. Actually, I was like reading more about them today as well. 1 second, I can share just for common knowledge of anybody who's listening, might be curious. There's the qalb, which is the heart, ruh, which is the spirit, sir, which is the secret, khafi, which is hidden, and akhfa, the most hidden, and finally the nafs, or the ego / self. Yeah.
Wow. I love that. It's so beautiful.
Mm.
And okay, so I mean, there's so much profound richness, and I want to say also, you know, part of why we're not part of why we're not taught about these traditions, I think, is also colonial reasons, but also because a lot of the knowledge was burnt. Like the Cordoba Library, you know, had like 500,000 books, and they were all burnt. And I think about like the destruction of knowledge, and how that is so disempowering. You know, when we can't relate to our own tradition, when we don't know our own tradition, our own lineages, we lose so much power. And I want to ask you a little bit to share about your journey in terms of, relationship to Islam. You know, you said a little bit like going out into like the chakra system and then returning back, and as you said, like localizing more, and just I'm curious to hear more about that journey. I think so many people can resonate with that, and many different traditions, landscape of like leaving your own tradition and then coming back.
Mm. Yeah, and also I would say coming back on my own terms.
Yeah.
Yeah, one of the things that really opened my heart and helped me heal my relationship with my faith is the sama' or the hadra, like the Sufi ceremonies and rituals. So I went to a gathering in Yalova in Turkey at a durga that's run by an organization called Tumata, founded by the late Dr. Orange. And it was just completely groundbreaking for me and heart like shattering, but in a beautiful way, and like the expansion because I saw that, oh wow, in this space, first of all, men and women were together, and that was not seen as something that is dangerous, let's say, or like haram. Also, there was such a diversity of humans there. Um, some people in dreadlocks, some people in like the sheikh beard, some people covered in tattoos, some people wearing hijab, like really such a diversity and an acceptance of that diversity, almost celebration of it. And that the centerpiece, like the God that everyone was singing to and dancing with and praying to and meditating with and all, was the beloved. And just that reframing of, oh yeah, I pray because I love God, not because I'm afraid of God. And God is closer to me than al-warid, they say, which is like the vein closest to the heart. You know, like,
Jugular vein.
yes, the jugular vein. أقرب منك من الوريد, I believe is how it's said. So yeah, I felt that like also رقة, like that really tenderness, that softness, that generosity. Like I remember this one time we were sitting and eating something, and it was just like, no, I will split this another half so that you can have some. No, I will split it another half so you can have some. It was simple moments for them maybe, but for me it was just like, wow, yeah, there was prayer even in that. Splitting the food to the smallest tiny particles so that we can all have more. Yeah, and I felt that it was in that space also with the music and with the whirling, and because I'm an artist, and so it was just like, yes, yes, that's how I want to pray.
And we're going to be whirling together too in Morocco in
Mhm.
this retreat.
Yes, yes. And the thing with my whirling workshop is that it's a contemporary form. Um, I haven't had the honor and privilege yet to be trained in a traditional lineage. And so I learned from a contemporary dancer named Zia Azazi. He's originally Syrian, but was born and raised in Turkey and now based, I think, in Austria. Exquisite dancer. And he really took it from like this physiological perspective, what is happening in our body. And I find that the physiological perspective and what's happening in the body is also very symbolic to what's happening in the other realms. So even if we're talking about it like choreography, and let's say stripped of any tradition, as a movement, it has so many meanings without even going into the philosophy of it. You almost can't avoid getting into the philosophy of it, because yeah, there's and I really respect also intact lineages, and I'm in no way devaluing that knowledge that's passed and through initiation and through generations. And I think movement and breath and sound are beyond culture and beyond any possession of any one group. These are really like the language of existing, of being and forming.
Which, to me, that's like the heart of what spirituality is. It's not about like, oh, well, my religion or my identity, right? Like, we're supposed to burst through all these categorizations to really get to the essence of life, which, I mean, we're Jewish and Muslim, so we believe it's one. Right? So like, but yeah, like the oneness of reality and then of existence. And, I think there's so much suffering that comes with the identification with particularities, and not to say that that's not important. Of course it's important, but part of the spiritual practice is also really, yeah, as you said, like touching the essence of life and letting it move you and transform you. And this is why I personally really believe that it's like a joint practice, I mean, across all religions really, but particularly like around Jewish and Islamic traditions, like they were in conversation with one another doing this work. God to them wasn't like the Jewish God and then the Muslim God. It's just God, and I think that that's such important medicine for our time, because we're so caught in like, well, my God, no, your God, and da, 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 da. And if I think my God instead of the God, like I'm losing something,
Yeah. Yeah, and actually, maybe I can just interject for a moment. Our friend Sammy was commenting earlier, and just to say that, like, also in Christian mysticism, and like the one also in between us, yeah, like historically speaking, um, that I think that there's also the potential for inclusion of people who were steeped in that faith, and that also for this retreat you don't need to be associated with any of the above. Because that was a question we also received last year of like, if I'm Christian, can I come? Like, yes, yes, you can
I
come.
know I
And
had so many Palestinian Christians, so they're like, "Why are you excluding me?" I'm like, "I'm really not. Come join."
yeah. So let's see, maybe in future years we can also have that in the conversation,
Yeah.
um, that perspective. And yeah, just to, because now it's like also sort of this sort of info session. So if you're questioning if your gender is an obstacle, that is not. If you're questioning if the faith you were born into is an obstacle, that is not. Like, really, I think the calling is for people who feel the resonance with this exploration and with this remembering and with this also reclamation and reinventing,
Mhm.
and who feel aligned on like core values. Like, we're quite clear on where our stance is for a liberated Palestine, for example, where we are on like issues of tolerance or homophobia or these things. Like, yeah, it's a specific, let's say, ground that we all stand on, this common ground, and then from there we can really explore safely.
Mhm.
Um, and all of that is written in the website, and you can also ask us. Let me link the website while you talk. 1 second.
Yeah. Okay. I can also put it in the comments. That's a
Yeah. Okay.
it's from the deep.com/Morocco or the .org. What is it? Oh, she disappeared. She left me.
No, no, I was just getting the link.
Okay. Like
There we
abandonment
go.
issues. No kidding.
Ah!
uh, okay. Oh, perfect. Oh, from the deep.earth. Okay. Well, okay, yeah. So I guess I wanted to also ask you, because we did, of course, everybody's welcome for sure. If your heart seeks the divine presence in this exploration, you are welcome. And I want to talk a little bit about why we chose to frame it in like the Jewish Muslim way, and also like about including politics around Palestine. And this could also be like an expansive conversation. I mean, obviously, this is something we talk about a lot, but I'm just curious to hear for you, like in this time, why is it important to do this work alongside Jews? I mean, it's not an obvious
Yeah,
thing,
yeah, yeah.
like
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Yeah.
yeah.
Well, because like through our conversations, Hadar, also I've learned a lot about this, and not only through conversations with you, but with other also Jewish allies, that actually if so religion can be used. It can be used as an excuse, and as a fuel or as a weapon to other and other people, and to say like, oh, we're superior. But it can also be really deeply tuned in to, and I think that when someone is really deeply tuned into the core values that are inside of this faith, they will realize that genocide is not the answer, that occupation is not in our Ten Commandments, that like that it's so far, that actually being a good, I don't like to use the word good, but like just really like an authentically embodied person of that faith would necessitate that you would stand against this injustice of this state that is using this religion and using the historical trauma to enact its strategy for domination in the region. And so I've heard this from you and from multiple other Jewish allies that are just like, oh, if I'm a good Jew, I have to stand against this. Um, and I think that also on the flip side, I think that it's really important that we deconstruct stereotypes and anti-Semitism and Islamophobia, and like all of these things that are being constantly pumped into our systems and can be reinforced by the injustice and by the anger at what's happening. So, yeah, I think that it's also not a this or that. Like, I think it's a complementary and parallel line. Like, let's look at it from the spiritual lens, and let's look at it from the direct action lens, and let's look at it from the artivism lens, and let's look at it from the humanitarian aid lens, and all of those are needed and actually in cooperation with each other.
Yeah.
And I'd
It
love
makes
to
me,
hear from you more about that also on the same topic.
yeah.
Yeah.
No, it makes me think of the first, think this was our first official event we did together in California. We did
Yeah.
like a Shabbat for Palestine and as a fundraiser and also conversation and also Shabbat ritual. And it was just really, really beautiful. I mean, yeah, I have a lot to say about this.
Yeah.
Obviously, this is like so much of my work, but like, um, even yesterday, I've been working for a long, hopefully I'll publish this today or tomorrow, but I've been making like a curated list of like anti-Zionist Jewish communities all over the world.
Wow, good.
Because for me, I've been in the anti-Zionist Jewish space for like over a decade. It's not something that started 2 years ago for me. So it's like I know of Jewish people who've been building so
Mm.
deeply, whether it's in the US or in, the land or in Europe, like everywhere, everywhere. And there's, as you said, there's more political initiatives, there's more artistic initiatives, there's more spiritual initiative, and they're all kind of part of that landscape. And like what I've found, I mean, obviously we're like bullied from the Jewish mainstream world. So like, it's like, we don't have as much resources. It's like we're more unknown, which is part of why I'm curating this list. Is like, but even through that, even through me knowing how much exists, I was still like amazed. Like I got to the word limit of what's possible because there was so many
Wow.
initiatives happening all over the world, and I know, I mean, obviously a lot of them have relationship with Palestinians, but also our relationships are very fraught and fragmented, even when it comes from an anti-Zionist perspective, because we don't have a lot of space where we can be with each other and also to literally like eat together. I think eating together, praying together, like the politics of learning how to be together, it's
Mm.
something really, really important to me. Like political activism cannot happen outside of relationships. It just, I
Mm.
like, you could sit and wherever you're sitting and write the biggest theories in the world that are very accurate. But if you don't know how to relate to
Mm.
someone, and that's where it's a spiritual practice for me, right? Like literally, like as Jews, we're taught so much about like the face of the other, which later on turns into like this is a whole other thing. My big learning right now is like the just connection between the field of psychotherapy and psychoanalysis and biblical studies and Jewish studies.
Mm.
But it's so much about learning how to confront and learning how to face and learning how to welcome, right? Welcome the stranger is like one of the biggest commandments in the Bible, or the thing that appears the most. But it's very, very deep, because it's not just like this. It's not just a physical thing. It's also an emotional thing. It's a political thing. It's a spiritual thing. Like, how do you welcome the one that you do not know? Uh,
Mm.
and I think, unfortunately, we have been taught to not know each other, and obviously there's political systems in place that keep us in that. And I think that part of the political resistance work is also the rethreading of relational work and also reclaiming our history together. Obviously that's a lot of the work around Arab Jewish identity that I do, of like understanding the Jews were part of the landscape and not as colonizers, but just because they were people. I mean, and certainly in Morocco,
Mm.
has a massive Jewish history there.
Mhm.
So I'm really excited to also do this work in North Africa. I think that I want to do something in Tunisia as well. And just, yeah, like I think that the revival of knowledge traditions through relationships is really what I'm here for.
Yeah, and through our relationships, and then through our relationship with the land, with the place,
Mhm.
and with our relationship separately and together to the faiths, and the faiths' relationships to each other, and all of our relationships to God. So like it's all relational. It's all relational, really.
Yeah.
And I just want to like now when you said, and hopefully next time in Tunisia, I'm like, every year you visit a new country, and then we'll do a retreat next next year there.
We'll keep moving
Last
around.
year, last year after Andalus, Hadar went on a visit to Morocco, and she sent me messages like right after we finished,
It's
right?
true.
And you sent me messages like, "Oh, we should totally do it here next time." And here we are.
And you're the earthly, sacred, feminine messenger that was like, okay, we're doing it. I was like, oh, okay, that we're doing
We're doing it.
it.
Yeah, it's exciting, and maybe we'll just give a little bit of data. It's from September 15th to 20th in Essaouira. Essaouira is on the coast of the Atlantic Ocean. I have a map right in front of me.
I love it. You have the Lataif in one screen, and
Yeah,
then you
the
have
live here, world map here. Prepared.
yeah.
Yeah, and it will be with the four of us, Hadar, myself, Medina, Taya. There will also be Gnawa musicians at some point. We will
Yeah, I was
have
gonna say
time.
music is gonna be a big deal.
Time. Yeah, music, whirling, studying, eating together, sunsets, sunrises, maybe sometimes, maybe. Let's see. Although it's not on the plan.
Beach time.
Beach time. Beach time. And prayer. Like every morning, we will have this co-creative prayer space also, so that we can be in this lab. I really loved this last year. We kept saying we're in this like experimentation lab. And so we come with what we know or what we have experienced, and also we're also students. We're students of each other and of you, whoever you are who's coming in. So there's a lot to learn and a lot to exchange, and it's exciting.
Co-weave with you, another offering into the world. And yeah, it's really beautiful. I feel like, each offering that we